So guys, welcome back to the second part of the third chapter. In this, we are starting with the fourth point. Okay, we are already done with the third till the third point. If you have not watched it, please go to the previous video. And fourth point. Okay, now federal system with unitary bias. Okay, so the Constitution of India establishes a federal system of government. It contains all usual features of a federation, that is, two government, division of powers, written constitution, supremacy of constitution, rigidity of constitution, independent judiciary, and bicameralism. Okay, so we'll note down this federal system with unitary bias. Okay, so Constitution of India establishes federal government. Establishes federal government. GOVT is government. Okay, and it contains all the features of federation. Okay, now features of federation. Okay, so we'll mention the features of federation, that is strong center, okay, single constitution and citizenship. Okay, flexibility of constitution, flexible constitution. Okay, and integrated judiciary, The next point is rigidity of supremacy of constitution, and just a second, division of power, written constitution, two government, division of power, strong center. Okay, so guys, by mistakenly I have noted the non-federal features. So we will note the non-federal features initially, then we will note the federal features. Non-federal features. Features of federation, non-federal features. Okay, non-federal features. Okay, so non-federal features are strong center, single constitution, single citizenship, flexibility of constitution, integrated judiciary, appointment of state governor, bi-center, and all India services. Now we will note down the federal features. Features of federation. Okay, so federal features are two government, GOVT is government, division of power, written constitution, okay, supremacy and rigidity of constitution, supremacy and rigidity constitution. Okay, supremacy and rigidity of constitution. Independent judiciary. Next point is independent judiciary. Independent judiciary and bicameralism. Okay, independent judiciary and bicameralism. Guys, don't get confused. In the book they have mentioned federal features in the starting and then non-federal features, but by mistakenly I have written non-federal features in the starting followed by the federal features. Okay, now moving on to the next point. Moreover, the term federation has nowhere been used in constitution. Article 1 on the other hand described India as union of state, which implies two things. One, Indian federation is not a result of agreement by states, and two, no state has right to cede from the federation. Okay, so what they are trying to explain over here is the term federation has not written in the constitution. So we'll just mention federation term not in constitution. Okay, and then it is said that India is not a result of agreement by states. Okay, as United States has become a country by agreement of different states, so it has not happened. Similar thing has not happened in India. Okay, hence Indian constitution has been variously described as federal in the form but unitary in spirit. Okay, quasi-federal by Casey Ware, bargaining federalism by Morris Jones, cooperative federalism by Granville Austin, federation with centralizing tendency by Ivor Jennings. Okay, so whoever have mentioned special things about Constitution of India, it is mentioned over in this paragraph. Now, next point, parliamentary form of government. Parliamentary form of government. Okay, now the Constitution of India has opted for British parliamentary system of government rather than American presidential system of government. The parliamentary system is based on the principle of cooperation and coordination between the legislative and executive organs, while the presidential system is based on doctrine of separation of power between two organs. Okay, the parliamentary system is known as Westminster model of government, responsible government and cabinet government. Okay, what they have said here is the Constitution of India has opted British parliamentary system. Okay, so we'll note down Indian Constitution has opted for British parliamentary system. Okay, rather than American presidential form of government. The parliamentary system is based on principle of cooperation and coordination between the legislative and executive organs. It is based on principle of cooperation and coordination between legislative and executive organs. Okay, while presidential system is based on doctrine of separation of powers between two organs. Since we have not opted for presidential system, um, we'll just read out this point. Okay. The parliamentary system is also known as Westminster model of government. Okay, so this is also known as Westminster model of government or responsible government. And it is also known as Westminster model of government or responsible government and cabinet government. Okay. The constitution establishes the parliamentary system not only at the center but also in states. Okay. We have parliamentary system in, we will note down here, center plus states. Okay. Parliamentary system we have in center as well as in states. The features of parliamentary government in India are, so features of parliamentary form of government have been mentioned here. What are the features? Presence of nominal and real executive, majority party rule. So what do you mean by features is, if these all things are present in a government, then it would be called parliamentary form of government. So what are the features? Presence of nominal and real executive, majority party rule, collective responsibility of executive to the legislature, membership of minister in the legislature, leadership of prime minister or chief minister, dissolution of lower house. Okay. So even though the Indian parliamentary system is largely based on British pattern, there are some fundamental differences between the two. For example, Indian parliament is not a sovereign body like British parliament. Further, Indian state has an elected head while British state has a hereditary head. In a parliamentary system, whether in India or in Britain, the role of Prime Minister has become so significant and crucial that the political scientists call it Prime Ministerial form of government. So, it is now, see, it is not important that you have to write in sequence. Here we have already written that what it is known. It is also known as Westminster responsible cabinet. So we will note this point here itself, so that all the different names are in one place. So it is also called Prime Ministerial government because the role of PM has become significant. Okay. So all this point that is features of parliamentary format will be covered in the upcoming chapters also. So we will note it down there. Here as such we don't need to note down because it will be repetition of the efforts. So here we will just write that what is difference between the Indian parliamentary system and British parliamentary system. Okay. So what it is said is Indian parliamentary system is not sovereign body like British parliament. So we will just divide it in Indian parliament and British parliament. So Indian parliament is it is not sovereign. So I have made a cross here, and British parliament is sovereign. Okay. Second point is Indian state has elected head. Indian state has elected head, and British state has hereditary head. That is monarchy. and this elected head is called republic. Okay, so this is the difference between Indian Parliament and British Parliament. Okay, now moving on to the next point, sixth point. It is synthesis of parliamentary sovereignty and judicial supremacy. So it is synthesis of parliamentary sovereignty and judicial supremacy. Okay, now the doctrine of sovereignty of parliament is associated with the British Parliament, while principle of judicial supremacy with that of American Supreme Court. Just as Indian parliamentary system differs from the British system, the scope of judicial review power of Supreme Court in India is narrower than what exists in US. This is because American Constitution provides for due process of law against that procedure established by law contained in the Indian Constitution in Article 21. Therefore, the framer of Indian Constitution have preferred proper synthesis between the British principle of parliamentary sovereignty and American principle of judicial supremacy. The Supreme Court on one hand can declare the parliamentary laws as unconstitutional through its power of judicial review. The Parliament on the other hand can amend the major portion of constitution through its constituent power. So we'll understand what it is said is. The doctrine of sovereignty of Parliament is associated with the British Parliament. Okay. While the principle of judicial supremacy with that of American Supreme Court. So, two concepts have been mentioned here. Sovereignty of Parliament is associated with British. Okay, and second point is judicial supremacy US American Supreme Court. Okay, now principle of sovereignty is associated with British Parliament and principle of judicial supremacy is associated with American Supreme Court. Okay, just as Indian parliamentary system differs from British system, the scope of judicial power of Supreme Court in India is narrower than what exists in US. So what they have said here is the scope in India is narrower than what exists in US. This is because American Constitution provides for due process of law against that of procedure established by law in Article 21. Okay, so it is explained. Therefore, the framer of Indian Constitution have preferred proper synthesis. Okay, so there were some positive things that were to be taken from the sovereignty of British Parliament, and some positive points from the US Parliament. So what India has done proper synthesis between this both. Okay. The Supreme Court on one hand, so due to the proper synthesis, what positive points India did was, now the Supreme Court, because of these 2 points, now the Supreme Court can declare parliamentary law as unconstitutional through power of judicial review, and on the other hand Parliament on the other hand Parliament can amend the major portion of the constitution through its constituent power. Okay. So the next point is integrated and independent judiciary. Okay. So the Indian Constitution establishes a judicial system that is integrated as well as independent. Okay. Integrated means connected to each other, and independent means independent, is not dependent on any other organization. The Supreme Court stands at the top in the integrated judicial system in the country. Below it there are high courts and state at the state level. So Supreme Court at the top, then High Court at the state level. Okay. Now below it there are courts at the state level. Under a High Court there is a hierarchy of subordinate court. Under a High Court there are subordinate courts. Okay. And other lower court. This system of court enforces both the central as well as state laws. So these court enforces central plus state laws. Okay. Now as well as state law. Unlike in USA where the federal laws are enforced by the federal judiciary and state laws are enforced by the state judiciary. Okay. So in US it happens in a different way, but in India it is all integrated. The Supreme Court is federal court, the highest court of appeal, the guarantor of fundamental rights of citizen and the guardian of constitution. Hence the constitution has made various provisions to ensure its independence. Security of tenure of judges, fixed service condition for the judges, all the expenses of Supreme Court charged on Consolidated Fund of India, prohibition on the discussion on the conduct of judges in the legislature, ban on the practice after retirement, power to punish its contempt vested in the Supreme Court, separation of judiciary from executive and so on. Okay. So what they have mentioned here is Supreme Court is the highest court of appeal and guarantor of fundamental rights. So we will note down this point. So Supreme Court is highest court of appeal and guarantor of fundamental rights. FRS is fundamental rights and guardian of constitution. Okay. Supreme Court is also guardian of constitution. Okay. So what is written? Hence the constitution has made various provision to ensure its independence. Okay. So because constitution is playing so many major roles, so what constitution has done? It has made various provision to ensure the independence of constitution. So what are those provisions? Security of tenure of judges, fixed service condition for all judges, all the expense of Supreme Court is charged on Consolidated Fund of India, prohibition on the discussion of conduct of judges in the legislature, ban on practice after retirement, power to punish for its contempt vested in Supreme Court, separation of judiciary from the executive and so on. So we will mention here powers by Supreme Court by Constitution to Supreme Court for its independence. So there are so many points mentioned over here, guys. We will write it in very short. Okay. tenure of judges, okay, then fixed service condition of the judges, of the judges, expenses charged on Consolidated Fund of India, CFI is Consolidated Fund of India, no discussion of conduct of judges in legislature, no practice after retirement, power to punish for contempt, and separation of judiciary from executive. Okay, so these are the power given by the Constitution to Supreme Court for its independence, that is tenure of judges, okay, security of tenure of judges, fixed service condition of judge, expenses are charged on Consolidated Fund of India, no discussion about conduct of judges in legislature, no practice after retirement, power to punish for contempt of court, separation of judiciary from executive. Okay, so we have completed till 7 point. Now we'll be doing 8 point onwards in the next lecture. Well, since this chapter is bigger and there are so many points to note down, so this chapter will take more parts to complete, guys. So keep on watching and please do like, share, comment and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in next lecture and we will be doing from fundamental right onwards. Okay, bye, thank you.